Good day, it is me again. I actually just made like 2 videos, but then I couldn't really get out of my words, so that pissed me off, so I decided to remake my videos. Not that they were that long, obviously, because otherwise I couldn't have been bothered, but here I am. So what I was saying is that I have a few post-its, yay, with a few things that I'd forgotten to say in my past videos, hence the bonus video I was preparing on making, which I'm making now. So a few little anecdotes about the first few weeks I was here. So as I'd said, I'd been introduced very fast to the African community here. And I don't think I had emphasized enough in my other videos how great that was, culture-wise and food-wise, because the moment I got there, it was all the habits that I kind of had forgotten, that had sunk at the back of my mind, because, well, obviously I was living in another culture, and it was just such a good feeling. In the beginning it was a bit awkward, but the minute everyone started getting to know each other, it was great. And Kambole was sitting next to me and she was like, did you also have power cuts in your country? And I was like, yes, I did. And those are stupid little things that most people hate, but I loved those. And I don't know, it's just those tiny little things that used to happen in my daily life and then that didn't anymore, so therefore it kind of it was forgotten, but the moment someone mentions it again, it's like, oh my god, yes, I do remember that. And the food, the shima, all the traditional things that most African countries have in common, that was all brought out again within the 5 first days here in Hamilton. So that was so good, because that's something that I really, really missed when I moved to Europe, and that's one of the reasons I didn't like Amsterdam so much in the beginning, because it was pretty, Amsterdam considers itself as a very multicultural city, but I don't consider it multicultural at all, especially not if I compare it to here, Hamilton, because my network of friends by now is so varied, so much more varied than I had in Amsterdam. That, yeah, I don't know, it's just great here. It's a lot less white compared to, I remember moving to Amsterdam and my mom showing me pictures of my school and me asking where are the colored children, because I think Amsterdam lacks a lot of that, it lacks in diversity. But anyway, I'm here now, so that is absolutely fantastic. So that was on my African topic. And it was so good because there were so many nationalities that night. It was Cameroon, Botswana, Nigeria. There was this guy from Jamaica, which I know is not Africa, but he was part of the group. And then Zambia, a few Kenyans. And it was just so good because we ended up watching Nigerian TV series. And it was just so funny. Oh my god, we had so much fun. And we were planning on going out. I realize how many times I say we were planning on going out and then we don't. Yeah, anyway. So we were planning on going out, but we ended up just sitting, the 4 of us, because slowly people would leave, and then it was the 4 of us just dancing and chit-chatting about everything you can think of, and it was just so good. It felt so good. So that was a great way to start my time here in New Zealand, in Hamilton. Then we had an orientation, International Orientation Day at uni, and I'd forgotten to say that we were welcomed with a war dance, which was absolutely fantastic. It was a Maori war dance, and I find the contrast within the dance so interesting, because they start off with super nice and slow dancing and singing, and it looks very innocent now, so you have the women in front and the men at the back. And then all of a sudden it switches and they go into this whole war cry, and their eyes go crazy and their facial expressions change, and it's so interesting to see. And there's so much power in it. I don't know how to explain it, but it was so good. It gave me goosebumps. So yeah, that's a part of this culture that I find really, really interesting. So I'm definitely going to look more into that. I'm not going to say that I'm going to try the dance out, because I'm pretty sure I would miserably fail at it. But besides that, it was a very nice welcome, and I think it's a very good way of keeping some cultural heritage within the university. So props for that. Then I went out, I'm actually like the worst first year student ever. We had 2 orientation weeks, and I think I went out like 3 times. And I had this guy in my class, and he was like, oh yeah, we went out 11 days out of the 14. So I felt like a proper little granny, because I was just like, well, stayed at home, and I slept. But I had fun, just not like party 24/7. But maybe that'll come later. We'll see. Anyway, so we went out. I went out with Tarun and Mitch, and I was in the toilet, and then like there's this transvestite. So apparently here, like most of the transvestites wear heels, and they look so fancy. They look so pretty, and I was like, oh my god, you look gorgeous. And he was like, you know, I'm a man, right? And I was like, I know, but you're welcome in the women's toilet if you feel like it. And he was like, oh, thank you so much. And then we ended up dancing the whole night, which was really, really nice. And there's a very, very, very big, like, culture here. And they call them Fa'afafine, which I've learned. It's a Samoan term to address the transvestites. And it's very interesting because, like, I live in a house with a lot of Samoans, so we constantly have discussions about many different things. And also about homosexuality. And so Samoa is quite a conservative country, and they're against homosexuals and all that. However, they do accept Fa'afafine in their society, which is a bit controversial because, well, most of the Fa'afafine there are gay. I don't know. It's just a very, very interesting contrast, and there are whole studies like made around them. And Amsterdam is a very, very like open city when it comes to like gays. But I'd never really seen transvestites with like high heels and properly dancing on them. It seems to be like a very big hype here, which I thought was hilarious and super cool. Then, on my other post-it, I've written something about the flies. Something I really wanted to mention because we have so many flies in this house. Not just in this house, in this whole country. And they are so arrogant. Seriously, okay, I know like, it sounds weird, but they would just like come and sit on you, or like on your food or whatever, and you want to swipe it away, and they don't move. You can literally touch them or crush them with your fingers because they can't be bothered to move. They're so lazy, and they're so annoying, and they interrupt my naps. So I just wanted to share that frustration with you guys. And I've been using repellent, like mosquito repellent, which is right over there. But that's bad for the environment, so I'm going to start making my own. I looked up recipes today, so you can do that with peppermint essential oils. Just saying in case anybody's interested in knowing that. So that's that. Then, when I got here, so I was about to live with Indians at first, but I ended up moving in here instead. But I'm still in touch with them, and we're actually really, really good friends. So it's a house with 3 guys and 2 girls, and one of the girls, Rupa, and I are really, really, really good friends already. Like, we reached a point in our relationship where she's probably gonna use my moon cup to see if she likes it before getting her own. I mean, that's the level we've reached. So that's very nice, because I haven't really chilled with a girlfriend in a very, very long time. Like, Molly's on the other side of the world, so we don't really see each other much. But this was just super chilled to just hang out with women again. Well, like with one woman specifically. So I'm very, very happy with that friendship. And I'm really good friends with the guys as well. We've been going on treks together, which I will talk about in a next video because I don't want to make it too long. But, so, when I arrived here, Niraj, one of the Indian guys, he was like, yeah, do you want to go to town? I'll show you around. And I was like, yeah, sure. And I was like, how long is it from here? And he was like, it's a 15-minute walk. And I was like, okay. Turned out it was like more like a 45-minute walk. So his time frame was out of this world. Anyway, it was so funny because we were gonna cross a road, and then he was like, do you know how it works here to cross roads? And I thought it was something special, so I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, you have to press a button and wait until it turns green and then you can cross. And I was like, yeah, I know. And he's like, oh, it wasn't like this in India. So I thought that was hilarious. Talking about the crossroads, here, they give you like 2 seconds to cross the road. Literally 2 seconds. They expect you to like sprint. So every time I cross the road, I actually laugh because it's ridiculous how fast it goes from green to red. It's impossible to cross it in 2 seconds. But everyone just chills and walks anyway. And actually in Auckland, there was this crossing thing that you can also cross diagonally, which I thought was very smart instead of like having to like make a full square and waiting every single time for the red or green light. So that is cool. I think other countries should take example on that. And another little funny anecdote with Niraj is we took the bus and he was like, when you want to get out, you have to press the button. And I was like, yes, I know. And he was like, that's not how it works in India. In India, it stops everywhere and then you just jump out if you're lucky. So that was a very, very funny cultural difference. And then again, the only way I knew that was because I'd moved to Europe. Well, technically I knew it before moving to Europe because we would go back to Europe once a year. Because we had the luxury to do so, thankfully. So I did know that, but I just thought that was hilarious. And their bus system here is quite similar to the one in Holland. They have like bus cards. So you put a certain amount on it and then you like get a ticket, which permits you to use it for another hour. So first I was like, they're wasting paper! But actually it's quite a good system. So that happened. Yeah. So that's still like a few extra things of the first week here. Also, we have ducks here on campus because we have lakes. And again, interesting contrast with Mozambique, because in Mozambique we used to have the pão. We used to have, you know, those like birds with like big tails that open up and like make awful noises. I don't know what they're called anymore. Anyway, they're beautiful. This pisses me off. Anyway, bon in French, so if you want to look that up, look it up. So we used to have those at the International School in Mozambique, in Maputo, and that was because like we were close to the presidential compound thing, so they would hop over to us and make so much noise. But they were beautiful to look at. And so here we have ducks flying around and walking around and quacking around. So that was very funny. And I just really like how nature is so involved in our everyday lives here. It's so good. And the trees are so beautiful. So that's really, really good. Really fun. Then I've noticed that sometimes I rewatch my videos, which are kind of cringy. But yeah, it makes me learn for the future videos. And I realized I refer a lot back to Holland, and that is obviously because it's been the country I've been living in, well, I lived in most recently. So yeah, like those cultural aspects are the ones I've been living with most recently, so that's why they reflect more in my everyday life, I guess. Then system-wise, I think that I don't know if all the unis are like that, but here we have a fixed timetable for the whole semester, which I think is absolutely fantastic, because in Holland it would change every 8 weeks, which is an absolute pain in the ass. But here, I have a 3-day weekend until July, actually for the rest of the year. So that's absolutely great. I'm so happy with that. So I'm not complaining at all. Then I've decided to start eating healthy and like being all healthy and stuff like that. However, it's so expensive here to eat healthy. Everywhere in the world actually, which I think is very stupid because they're trying to promote like healthy people and like being fit and all that, and then they make it extremely expensive. Like I made a lasagna and I had to pay like $25 for all the ingredients, and I could have just bought a $3 pizza. Woohoo! Which is as good, but not for your health. Anyway, that's another frustration I wanted to share. And also, I actually had ducks at school. I might post it. Also, a funny thing is most of my friends are like 5 years older than me, or like at least 5 years. So most of them are maybe like 10 years older and have kids, and I don't know, like they're all doing their PhDs or whatnot, have a life, buying their first house. And in our everyday relationships, like we don't notice the age difference. But when it comes to like buying a new house and I'm like, oh, I just started uni, That's when we notice the differences. But I think it's so good